Hello everyone, my name is Gia and I'm 13. We all know our parents are the first people who teach us to talk in our life. But what if I tell you that I had to use an online translator to speak to my own father? The thing is, I was actually born in China, but I moved to America many years ago after my father tragically died in a car accident. My mom married an American, so she took me to Los Angeles where we were all a happy family together. My mom always tried to avoid any talks concerning my dad. She basically put all that behind her. This is the story that I was told until that day. Even though I was only 3 years old when I saw my father for the last time, I remembered him really well, and I missed him. One day when I walked out of school, I saw a man standing at the gates. He looked confused, and it seemed like he was looking out for somebody. I don't know what happened to me, but my heart started to beat faster. I got up closer and our eyes met. I had no doubts at all. That was my dad. But how? And I saw that he recognized me as well. It didn't take long for me to just hang on to him. I asked him like a million questions, but he just looked at me and smiled. And then I realized that he didn't understand what I was saying. He handed me a big box and said something in Chinese, but I didn't understand a word. My mother spoke very little Chinese to me after we moved to America, so I had forgotten my native language almost completely. It was so ridiculous. My father and I hadn't seen each other for so many years, and when we finally met, we weren't even able to talk to each other. Anyway, we tried to communicate with hand gestures and a translator on my phone. My broken Chinese didn't help much. What I had managed to get so far was this. My father never got into a car accident. My mother fell in love with another man, my stepfather, ran away to America and took me with her without even letting my dad know about it. He had been trying to find us for years and finally made this long trip from China to see me. He tried to contact my mother, but she just threatened him with the police. This bitter truth knocked me out completely. My father and I exchanged phone numbers, and we agreed to meet again soon. When I got home, I had a complete meltdown. I asked my mother point blank why she had done that to our family. But it turned out that she was already aware that my dad had come to see me. She looked very nervous and serious. Her voice was trembling, but she said that she had done it for my own good. Mom said that my father was not a worthy man. When they lived in China, he used to spend every evening gambling. Finally, he lost his job, and that was the final straw for her. She wanted to protect me and to give me a better life. And she also begged me not to see him again. End of conversation. I was furious. My father's mistakes of the past didn't justify my mother's lies. I went to my room and shut the door. I opened the box my dad had given to me. There were old pictures of all of us in China. My mom, my dad, my grandma, and myself. We all looked so happy. I burst into tears. I lay in my bed and couldn't sleep. Then I texted my dad in Chinese. I am coming to you now. I jumped out of bed and started packing. I didn't actually realize what I was doing, but then I snuck out of the window and headed to the hotel where my father was staying. When I got there, my dad was very surprised to see me. He was really worried that I had made my way there at night, all alone. After an hour of trying to break the language barrier, my father told me that he had met my mom. She offered him money to leave America and never show up again, but he had refused. He confessed that he had been neither a good father nor a proper head of our family, but he just wanted to have the right to see his daughter, to see me. My heart sank. I never expected my mother to stoop so low, and I was sure I was making the right decision. I asked my father if we could run away to China together. I wanted to see my motherland and my grandma. I was so happy when my father agreed, but we couldn't go to China by plane because we would get caught at the airport immediately. That's why we decided to run through Mexico. But it was more than just risky. It was completely insane. My mother could find out I wasn't home at any minute and go to the police. So we had to leave as quickly as possible. We changed our clothes. I put on my father's hoodie and sunglasses just in case, and we set off on the road. It was like something out of a movie. Since my dad couldn't speak English, I had to control the whole process. There was no other way to get to Phoenix except to hitchhike. We got picked up by a car and asked the driver to take us there. The driver was a very nice man, and as it turned out, he was going the same way. Now we were lucky. He was very talkative and asked my dad a lot of questions. I quickly stepped in and said that my father was mute. And it seemed like he bought it. The radio was on, and suddenly it said that a girl was stolen by her Chinese father, and if anybody saw her, to let the police know immediately. It nearly gave me a heart attack, but it seemed like the guy driving didn't pay any attention to this announcement. I calmed down, and since we had a long way to go, my dad and I fell asleep very soon. I woke up when I heard a loud voice. "That's it, guys. We're here." I opened my eyes to see that we were not in Phoenix. We were at the police station, surrounded by police cars. Our fairy tale had gone bad. It was so silly of me to drag my poor dad, who would have done anything to redeem himself, into this getaway. It was impossible from the very beginning. But we were both so emotional and excited to see each other that we didn't think about the inevitable consequences. My father was put into prison. This trip will cost him 4 years of his life. Concerning my mom, now she regrets that it all led to this. But I don't know if I will be able to forgive her or myself. The only thing that I can do is wait for the day my father gets out of jail, and to hope that we will be able to make things right afterward. What would you do if you were me? Have you ever done anything irrational? How did it end? If you have a story to tell, I would be happy to read it in the comments. Feel free to share this video with your friends. I'm looking forward to your feedback.